Hey guys, so welcome back to another episode of A Borderline Personality. Today we are going to be talking about what it's like to be in a relationship with me, aka a borderline personality person, someone who has BPD. And this goes hand in hand with the fear of abandonment and that symptom. As usual, I'm going to be reading off of some online sources. And guys, this isn't plagiarism. I'm fresh out of college and nobody taught me how to cite a source in a podcast other than to just give them the good old shout out. So shout out to verywellmind.com, who says people with BPD are often terrified that others will leave them. However, they can also shift suddenly to feeling smothered and fearful of intimacy, which leads them to withdraw from relationships. The result is a constant back and forth between demands for love or attention and sudden withdrawal or isolation. I also can't talk today, so excuse me. Another BPD symptom that particularly impacts relationships is called abandonment sensitivity. This can lead those with BPD to constantly watch for signs that someone may leave them or interpret even a minor event as a sign that abandonment will happen. In terms of myself, I go through major periods of either needing that person's attention or wanting them to be completely out of my life, but still there as a security blanket. I go from wanting to be intimate to not wanting to be intimate, and it changes, and those changes can last for months before something else happens. In terms of abandonment sensitivity, this is the biggest part of my relationship problems is I'm terrified of being left alone. And not even left alone, it's I'm being terrified of someone leaving me. I cannot handle that. And if I get the sense that you are going to leave me, I will either do whatever it takes for you not to leave me, or I will leave you first. Usually it will start with me doing whatever it takes for you to not leave me, whether it's admitting that I'm wrong when I don't think I am, or whether it's kissing your ass for a week. But then I get to the point where I'm just done, and that's that. And I'd rather leave someone than be left. My behaviors of BPD can change so much, and it can cause so much stress for the person that I'm dating. And I completely understand how hard it is to be in a relationship with me, because I'm impulsive, I'm reckless, I'm moody, I'm depressed. It's just not a good package. And research has confirmed that people with BPD tend to have very stormy romantic relationships, and that literally could not be more true. The purpose of this podcast is for me to be open and honest about what I am going through and what I have been through. So, with that being said, 99.99% of my relationships have completely been toxic for one reason or another, no matter how in love we look. Toxic, just completely toxic. And I don't know, that's just the worst thing that because people with BPD need someone there. It's it's almost we need to have a security blanket of people around us, and not just people, but an intimate romantic relationship. So that's kind of hard and difficult. So when you're starting a romantic relationship with someone with BPD, given all the difficulties that exist in BPD relationships, it's why would anyone start a relationship with someone with the disorder? But it's really important for people to know that people with BPD are frequently good, kind, and caring individuals, and they often have really positive qualities that make them great romantic partners some of the time. But it's also it's really difficult. Now, will the relationship last? Most BPD relationships, as with all relationships, go through a honeymoon period, and people with BPD will often report that at the beginning of a new romantic relationship, they put their partner on a pedestal, and sometimes they feel like they've found their perfect match or their soulmate. That's me in like a little snippet. Every time I start, and I haven't had that many relationships, I've like hooked up a bunch, but like I haven't really like had too many long-term relationships. So like when I start dating someone, I put them on the tallest pedestal you can find, and like they're literally Jesus to me until they become not Jesus. Right after this honeymoon period, problems start to arise really, really fast. And by fast, I mean like, especially me with BPD, like my shit comes out of nowhere. And like, I don't even know how to say it. And I know that like it takes two to start. And I don't want to just like give you a bad impression that I'm like the worst person to date. But like, I'm not like the best person to date. I'm not like stable or anything, but I'm hoping with this new treatment, like I can become a little bit more stable, and I can have more predictable actions. So the key to maintaining a relationship with someone with BPD is to find ways to cope with these cycles and to like encourage your BPD partner to get professional help to reduce these cycles. I have not been talking about the relationship that I'm in for a couple reasons, because just for like safety reasons for myself and for him, but I have been highly encouraged by my partner and like my parents to start getting real professional help. And if you want to know what that looks like, listen to the podcast before this, listen to the episode called A New Treatment, and you can see what that looks like. I also really quickly want to talk about ending a romantic relationship with someone with BPD. This is key to the rest of their life. Because people with BPD have this intense fear of abandonment, a breakup can be detrimental to their mental state of mind, and it can go very, very bad. It's really important that when you're breaking up with someone with BPD, you have to make sure, if you care about them, you have to make sure that they have a good support system, and you have to make sure that you're doing it in a way where it's not like an F you, I'm out. Like, they can't feel that you abandoned them. And this may sound, people are going to disagree with this, but if you can even keep talking to them after you've broken up, not as like romantic, not as in like a romantic way, but like just like as a friend, like that can really help someone with BPD when you guys are breaking up. So I would highly, highly encourage that. And like, my first boyfriend did that, and I didn't even know I had BPD at that point, but he did that, and it was really helpful to me because I think he knew that I had like this like abandonment issue, because every time we would try to break up in the past, either him or I would be like, no, like don't do it. But sometimes you need to break up, and it's not like, sometimes breakups are inevitable. As for me and like toxic relationships, as someone as someone who has BPD and who has like major abandonment issues, where was I going with this? I tend to stay in toxic relationships even though I know that they're toxic. And I think that a lot of people can like identify with that, and like they kind of understand me, because like, you know, when you're in a toxic relationship, you just know, but it's not all that easy. So, yeah, I stay in toxic relationships because I'm scared of being left alone. And if I feel like it's super toxic and I actually need to leave, I will do the leaving. I will not let the other person leave. That's just a little bit about what it's like. I didn't even get about like what it's like to be in a relationship with me. Honestly, I am so unpredictable that it's like, we have great moments, but we also have like really bad moments where it's like, all right, why am I dating this girl? She's like actually fucking nuts. And that may be true. I am nuts, but I also have really good intentions. Like, my intentions are never to hurt someone or to piss them off so greatly that like they want to leave or they end up leaving. Like, I have good intentions, but sometimes my actions are uncontrollable, and so are my thoughts. So that's kind of what it's like to be in a relationship with someone with BPD, aka me. If you guys have any questions, feel free to message me, get a hold of me somehow, my Instagram. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you guys soon.